Alright, alright, alright. Alright, alright, alright. Alright, alright, alright. Keeping your head up, right, don't matter. It's alright. Cause even a change gon' come today, even tonight. In my house, the earliest record player had 3 records standing next to it. Okay, 4. Lionel Richie, Bob Marley, those were the albums. And then 2 significant singles, Double Dutch Bus and The Tide Is High by Blondie. Double Dutch Bus, think, 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 bump, bump, think, think. That made me want to produce music. I wanted to understand how did they get that horn in there? How did they get those little tingling sounds on the keys? Tide is high, sweet melody, but it had a soca beat. The tide is high. I mean, that was pop music, but it was influenced by reggae. That's the beats that you would hear on Rock the Boat, Rock the Boat. That's the time Calypso, the beat of Calypso was becoming popular in the world, and quite a few records had that beat. But The Tide Is High by Blondie was the one that was playing in all the parties and all the reggae jams and all the pop radio. The Lionel Richie stuff, for me, I was learning to sing that as a child. Playing drums and singing Say You, Say Me, Hello, Stuck on You. Those records, and of course Bob Marley, things like, Could You Be Loved. I would put that record on repeat to try to find the timing of the drums. Those records definitely stay with me today and have influenced my career. Well, he was the DJ in the area. We met him. He was a Rasta, long locks, but he worked in the oil field with my dad. So he would, say, MACHEL, come, and he would see my interest in his record players and his cassette tapes, and he would leave me there. But he was reggae. So it was Steel Pulse, it was Aswad, it was Third World, Jacob Miller. And for me, what it was about was I was fiddling with his echo chamber and his equalizer, and I was trying to figure out how do they get all these instruments onto this vinyl. And it was his cassette decks plus some of my dad's that I borrowed, and I made a relay of cassette players and decks. I would take the drum machine, press play, record here. Take that cassette out, press play, and press record on this one and play the keys while this one played the drum machine. And at the end, I would have one tape with so much noise on it, just going shh. But that was how I layered everything to make my first production. Could be around 12 or 13, 4 sticks, 4-track, with cassette tape. And then I move up to 8-track with reel-to-reel. And that really set me into, I was into the technology. I always wanted to be that kid in the background, recording everybody. But, getting on stage with the band and seeing the lead singer get girls, kind of was like, all right, I think I want to sing and get some girls too, But yeah, I was in that room from 9, 10, and then started getting my own equipment by 11, 12. Standout purchase for me would definitely be Biggie Smalls, Life After Death. Just to go and buy that double CD, Hypnotize and Nasty Boy, and buying all the Buju albums, like waiting for them to come out to buy it, to see what he was gonna do different, from Girl You Make My Day, and just loving that, and then seeing him come into Till Shiloh. But if I ever remember buying any vinyl records, it will definitely be, Bobby Brown, My Prerogative, back in that time. I will always be going to places like Reiner's Records in Trinidad, which was like the #1 record store, because I'll be going there to deliver my records. Early in my life, one of the record stores that really had an impact on me was Charlie's over on Fulton. 3 different types of soca. Right now, we consider all the branch-offs of music to be soca. The 3 versions of soca that are distinct, I would say, would be groovy and power, which is the lowest BPM and the highest BPM. The lowest BPM could be anywhere from 100 BPM to 115. Things like Tempted to Touch, things like Turn Me On. I love that just as much as doing Power Soca. Power Soca is a little more difficult, and you know I've had to put in a lot of work to master that genre, because when you're up there, you're trying to win Road March. But surprisingly, there was a smash of those two things that came out later on in my career, which we call as Power Groovy. Songs like The City, Go Bundle, we jamming still, so they're not totally fast up-tempo songs. They're still in that 125 to 140 BPM. They're not all the way up to the 165 BPM like Power Soca. And that is becoming the most popular genre in Soca. Yeah, but you know, that's the three types of Soca, and I can't say that I prefer one over the other. Recording music is my passion. That is what got me into the art. You know, I wanted to understand how they got these instruments on these black discs. And I figured it out, and I learned about it, and I went to school. I'm a sound engineer. I went to school in Ohio. I studied sound engineering at the recording workshop. You know, I would put recording in front of performing. I love being in the studio, but I also love the vibe of performing these songs for people and changing people's lives right there in a Phat, making 20,000 people go to the left and go to the right. If I really had to choose, I would want to be in the studio till the day I die. Big Phat Fish was a unique happening. Around that time, I was trying to get the dancehall artists to collaborate with us. So they like reggae, they like hip hop. I would learn those things in the band. I had a Macintosh computer, and we would program and sample everything to make it sound like, yeah, impress them. And when they're smiling, we slip in a soca song. And then they'll kind of get like, all right, and then we slip in a reggae. So you keep lifting them, and then when they drop, you see, find a way, and then we started to blend the music. It just popped into my head. Big fat fish raining from the sky, make the man them cry. And we just went in right there, myself, Farman Happy, and Tony Kelly start writing the lyrics. Because I was looking to represent soca and calypso on a dancehall rhythm. Come on. Bob Marley, Michael Jackson, Rihanna, Alive, hello. You know, right now, I think like Rihanna is one of the persons who really came out of the Caribbean to do something as impactful as Bob Marley. And I feel like she would be a significant person to bring the genre of soca music forward. And I have an idea for Rihanna that I'm working on, so hopefully, you know, I can make it attractive enough for her to say, yeah. Message. Big up Okayplayer for providing the platform, you don't know. Deo is what I call one of my experiments. You know, big respect to Travis Will, who's the producer. He gave me a bunch of beats to listen to. But what I liked about Deo was that 8-bit sound. You know, I'm a tech freak, and I like 8-bit, and I like computer, and I like Atari, and I like cartoon sounding things. So his productions had that vibe, but I wanted to be on record as trying to get into that sounding genre. Singing Deo live on stage, I would put Harry Belafonte, me say they on top of the Power Soca while performing live in halftime. Catch the older audience, but you're still catching the young audience at the same time. You know, I grew up in the era of watching Michael Jackson, and it was always epic shorts. So I always thought that, you know, my music videos, I want to, you know, emulate that. Almost every single Machel Montano video or song or production, I am playing a role in all of those fields. I'll find directors who I know have the skill and have the ability to take my little idea and make it better. But a lot of these videos come from my dreams. But I work with some of the best young directors always, and I try to let them bring their own ideas into it, because we feel that the visuals are very important to making these songs hit. I tend to go back into greatness always. So I love listening to Bob Marley. I traverse the songs that people don't really play that often, and I find feelings in them. These things lift my spirit because I could connect with somebody going through something that was trying to express themselves. Of all time, there's an album that nobody would expect that is on my #1 list that has changed my life, has brought me out of depression. CeCe Winans, Everlasting Love. I remember putting that album on. The first song is alright, alright, alright. Alright, alright, alright. Alright, alright, alright. Keeping your head up, right, don't matter. It's alright. Cause even a change gonna come today, even tonight. He's gonna answer every little prayer. Just hold on, wait and see. You know it's gonna be alright. I will go 6 songs deep, 7 songs deep into that CeCe Winans Everlasting Love album. And I would come from crying to feeling strong, to feeling hope, to actually feeling to go out there and do something. I urge anybody to listen to that album. If you want to feel better, if you're in a dark place, if you need something to lift you up, you go to that. Other than that, you best check out some MACHEL Montano Soca albums, because that will brighten your day immediately. You heard?